Someone came to me in one of the counseling sessions several years back, and he told me a story, a very unpleasant story, frustrating story to him, and of course not a pleasant story, I dare say. He told me that when he was growing up, that several times he had seen his dad beat up his mom, and that it was a routine for one issue will come up between the two of them, husband and wife, and the next thing his father would pull out his belt and beat his mom blue black. That he grew up with so much of the pain, having to see this being done in his presence, and having that seep into his eyes gates, and many times he walked in frustration as he could not help. He said that persisted for many years until he became a young adult. Then he told me also that he came also at some point that, of course, the life of a beater is such that, the practice is very endemic, except for some miracle or for some very hard, decisions or when it's only when the beater and abuser, knows that there is a very hard consequences, for his action. I think that's about the only time that many of them make a consideration. But naturally, it is something that is always underrated. It is something that is endemic. A beater will find excuse to beat his spouse. An abuser would put up all the alibi, no matter meaningful or not, to be able to express his animalistic tendency. He said this was the nature of his father for many years. They decided now got to a point that he had become a young adult, and just in the practice of his father, the issue had come up between him and the mother this time around again. And then the father pulled out the belt, and just about the point that his father was going to beat his mother, he said in his account that he held the belt in the air and he looked stern, a very stern, eyeballs to eyeball to his father. And the father, I believe, understood what would come up next. He said the father pulled the belt down, and he told with his personal account that was the last time his father ever made any attempt to beat his father, to beat his mother. So you will dare say that he became an angel that bailed out his mother from the hand of an abusive husband, which is his father. Now, there's a dimension to this story. He also told me that when his sister got married, the sister also got married to an abuser, a white beater. That in one of those times that he had the story that his brother-in-law had beaten up his sister, he said he went with his few of his friends down to their house to go and fight his mother-in-law. It's over that. So to the extent, now what would you get out of this story? It then meant that everything about this young man resented a man beating a woman. He said he gathered his friend to go and fight his mother-in-law. You might say that approach is very inappropriate, but however, that was the story. He went as far as getting his friends to go and in other words, his sister may not be able to match up the strength of the husband, but he went to go and defend his sister in his matrimonial bond. There was something that I want to establish in this story.